Highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shilt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
He swung on and hammered to deep left field. Conforto will turn to watch this one. Gonna go! Oh, that is one sweet ambush against Matt Sauer. And Martin Maldonado, his third home run of the year, makes it 6-0.
Martin Maldonado and the San Diego Padres cruise to an 11-1 win over the LA Dodgers on this Tuesday night as the Padres even up this 3-game series at a game apiece. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. Welcome into the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Players, kickstart your summer of fun with Jamul Casino Resort's Players Party Saturday, June 14th. Score $20 in free play. Then enjoy live music, DJs, and best of all, free food. See JamulCasino.com for details and get ready to party, play, and win. 11 runs on 16 hits for the Padres here tonight. Dylan Cease was outstanding. 7 scoreless innings, 11 strikeouts, and the Padres got exactly what they needed, both from an offensive standpoint, from a pitching standpoint. They improved to 38-28 on the year. The Dodgers dropped to 40-28, and the Padres now move back to just a game out of first place in the NL West and an opportunity to move into a tie for first place if they can win this series tomorrow. Again, from the offensive side, everybody got involved. Jackson Merrill had 2 hits in this game. Padres scoring 3 in the third, 1 in the 4th inning, 1 in the 5th inning, 4 in the 6th inning, 2 in the 7th inning. I mentioned Jackson, certainly a lot to break down offensively, but I caught up with the Padres' young superstar on the field right after tonight's win.
Jackson, a really nice 11-0 win here tonight. You were facing a guy in Matt Sauer for the bulk innings that you had never seen before. How was the offense able to have so much success against them tonight?
Stayed to our approach, didn't do anything crazy. We didn't really have any homers besides Maldi, so stayed to our approach the whole game. It showed.
You had a pretty good look at Dylan Cease, 7 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts. What'd you think about the way he pitched?
That's the way he pitches, man. You just got to be patient with him, He's going to come out and he's going to dominate. Just got to be patient. It's coming, so.
Obviously, last night, a tough loss. You respond in a really big way tonight. What was the key mentally to getting back into it tonight?
Flush it, It was a good game yesterday. You have to admit, it was one of the best baseball games of the year. So, just overcome it and move forward in the day.
2 games into this rivalry in 2025. What do you thought about the atmosphere here?
Great. It's how it should be. It's how all our games should be, though. I want a rivalry with every single team we play. I want to go hard. I want to play hard and just keep going.
Jackson, great win tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sammy.
That was Jackson Merrill right after tonight's 11-1 win. I forgot about that Dodger run down on the field. 11-1, the Padres beat the LA Dodgers, and we'll get into it. Really a much-needed win in a variety of different ways for the Padres here tonight. When we come back, we'll recap this game from start to finish. We have all the radio highlights for you. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do as we continue to wrap this one up on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Final score, Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1. Our postgame coverage continues after this.
Hey guys, it's Woodsy. A full
Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, the Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1 as the Padres even up this 3-game series at a game apiece, and now an opportunity to win this series tomorrow with right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for San Diego. We'll talk plenty more about tomorrow's game coming up in just a little while. We'll have the full out-of-town scoreboard coming up. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt and much, much more. Your phone calls later at 833-288-0973. This game was very, very different than last night. It really felt that way from the opening couple of innings on, and then the Padres offense really, really got it going. Let's recap it from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres here tonight. Pitched a scoreless top of the first inning. Got a little help from Jackson Merrill, who made a great leaping catch at the center field fence to end the inning. Lou Trevino opened the game with a scoreless first inning for the Dodgers, despite a hit-by pitch to begin his night. We fast forward to the third, still scoreless game. Dylan Cease got in major trouble. He issued 3 walks while the Dodgers loaded the bases, but Cease struck out Teoscar Hernandez to end the inning. Bottom 3, right-hander Matt Sauer on the mound for LA. Fernando Tatis Jr. reached on a 2-out walk. That brought up Luis Arraez.
Started and stopped. Arraez hits it into right field and a base hit. It's down the line. Fernando rounding second on his way to third. Hernandez gets to it. Tim Leeper going to wave him. Here's the relay from Tommy Edman, and it is not in time. RBI double Luis Arraez. Padres strike first. It's 1-0.
Fernando was flying, racing all the way from first base into score on the Luis Arraez RBI double. Padres weren't done, and Manny Machado was next.
And he swings, loops it into right center field. Pages over, not going to get there. Drops down at a base hit. That'll get Arraez home from second. Manny Machado an RBI single, and it's 2-0.
The boys weren't done. Jackson Merrill dug in.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Merrill swings, hits it hard over Freeman down the right field line. Now it's Manny's turn to burn around the bases. On his way to third, he's going to be waved. Hernandez just gets to it, sends it into Edman. It'll roll to Freeman. Machado scores, and Merrill standing at third. It's an RBI triple and a 3-0 game.
Padres scored another in the bottom half of the fourth inning. They loaded the bases with nobody out. A run scored on a Martin Maldonado double play ball to make it 4-0. Padres struck again against Sauer in the fifth inning. Luis Arraez hit a leadoff double. Manny Machado was next.
1-0 pitch is a flare over Betts into left center. Arraez got a great read. He's rounding third on his way. There will be no throw to the plate. Another RBI single for Machado and a 5-0 Padre lead.
That's all the Padres got in the fifth inning. In the sixth inning, they kept on going. Martin Maldonado led off.
He's swung on and hammered to deep left field. Conforto will turn to watch this one. Gonna go! Oh, that is one sweet ambush against Matt Sauer. And Martin Maldonado, his third home run of the year, makes it 6-0.
After that, an infield single from Fernando Tatis Jr. He went to third base on a Luis Arraez base hit. Manny Machado grounded out. Tatis scored from third, the third RBI of the evening for Manny. He wasn't done. The Padres led 7-0. And the Padres themselves, as a team, they weren't done in that sixth inning. Later in the inning, there were runners on second and third, 2 men away for Xander Bogaerts.
The 0-1 is lined into center field. That's a base hit. Arraez has scored. Merrill's speeding home. He will score as well. Xander Bogaerts adds on. A 2-run single in the sixth, and the Padre lead is 9-0.
A 4-run sixth inning, a 9-0 lead. That meant the Dodgers were allowed to have a position player come into pitch. So they brought in Kike Hernandez to pitch in the sixth inning. By the way, Matt Sauer threw 111 pitches in relief in this game. We're going to talk more about that. Hernandez came in to pitch in the sixth inning, got out of the inning. Before we talk about the seventh inning, let's talk about Dylan Cease. He completed the top of the seventh. He was terrific tonight. Exactly what the Padres needed. 7 scoreless innings and 11 strikeouts. Kike Hernandez was sent back out for the seventh. He was just lobbing balls up there. There were 2 on for Manny Machado.
And he swings and hits it in the air to deep left field. Conforto's back at the wall. It's off the wall. Both runs going to come in and score, and a big night for Manny Machado. A 2-run single off the left field fence. The Padre lead is 11-0, and Manny with 5 RBIs.
A big night indeed. Dodgers would get a run against David Morgan in the top of the 8th inning, and that was that here tonight. The final score, the Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1. Final totals for the Padres, 11 runs on 16 hits, no errors for LA. 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error. Everybody getting involved offensively here tonight. Dylan Cease outstanding, finally gets a win. It had been a long time. We talked about it pregame today. We'll talk more about Dylan a little bit later. He improves to a record of 2-5 on the year with the win. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll read through the box score, tell you what everybody did offensively here tonight. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit as well. Again, the final in the middle game of this 3-game set, the Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1. This is the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
Padres win it 11-1 on this Tuesday evening as San Diego wins the middle game of this 3-game set. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. I'll tell you what, this game was exactly what the Padres needed in a couple of different respects. Let's go through the box score here tonight, one by one. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a base hit, a walk, scored 2 runs. Luis Ariz had a great night, 3 hits, an RBI, 2 doubles, and 4 runs scored. Manny Machado had a 5 RBI night, 3 hits and a run scored. Jackson Merrill had 2 hits with an RBI, including a triple and a run scored. Gavin Sheets had a double in this game. Xander Bogaerts, great night, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, hit the ball hard in this game. Jake Cronenworth had a base hit. Martin Maldonado had 2 hits, including a home run, 2 runs scored for Maldonado. So offensively, it's been a while, including last night, a while since the Padres had a game quite like this, where they were just firing on all cylinders and really had an offense reminiscent of what we saw in the first month or so of the season. Yesterday, they scored 7 runs. They did some good things, but I thought tonight was just a great offensive night, and they did it against the guy in Matt Sauer that they had never seen before, and we'll get more into Sauer and really how the Dodgers approached this game in general. I thought that became very evident in the middle innings when Sauer was just basically left out there to keep throwing and throwing and throwing. You look at what Dylan Cease did here tonight on the other side. Again, talking about this game being exactly what the Padres needed. We talked pregame about the need for Dylan to not only be effective here tonight, but to go deep, to provide length. And he did both those things. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits given up. He did walk 5, but he struck out 11. When he got in trouble, he was able to work his way out of it, and he did exactly what they needed tonight. He was good, and he went 7 really, really, really strong innings. So again, offensively, on the pitching side, this game here tonight, it was exactly what the Padres needed. Really, really was. Let's go downstairs. Here's some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Your starter goes 7 and win by a large margin, but how big was that at this time for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, never a bad time, but very timely for other obvious reasons, right? But Dylan was really good. We got into that starter 7-inning spot that is really important to us, and obviously we were able to open it up with a lot of relentless at-bats throughout, top of the lineup, carrying the weight for the most part down through bogey, but the whole team effort. Maldi contributed the 9, but yeah, it was important.
There's a couple. Cease getting to be this guy, how important would that be for you guys here?
Huge. Huge. And the way he did it tonight is a great blueprint for it. Dominated 0 and 1-1 counts. So he was just, first 3 pitches were 2 out of 3 were almost all strikes. So he does that. It's earlier outs. It's sets him up for the strikeout that he clearly has and wants, but also allows him to get earlier outs, which wins for 100 pitches, 7 innings. That's pretty much the recipe.
And this other one's fairly obvious, but you've been kind of haven't gotten it a whole lot. Is the top of the order all contributing?
Yep, that's right.
Like 11 runs is this kind of thing that can happen when that. I just wonder how big that is.
It's huge. It's there's 2 big milestones that happened again tonight. We got the starting pitching, and that's how you really ultimately put together and win games, and allow your bullpen to be rested. And contributions for the top of the lineup. Toddy sets the tone. Fantastic, just a force in every aspect of the game with the bat in his hand on the bases. Louis got his magic wand going. Manny's being Manny, and Jackson looks like who he is, and Sheets continues to take good at bats, and Bogey's shooting lined out to center, and could easily had a 4-hit night.
You said Dylan's start was timely for obvious reasons, and I'm wondering if you kind of go into those obvious reasons, just what it means for resetting the bullpen ahead of, as part of a stretch that you guys are in right now.
Yeah, no, that's the, maybe it's not so obvious, but yeah, I need to explain it. The starting pitching, going to be able to go deep in the game is a big part of it. Not to force it, but to be able to do it and do it effectively. So that's a starting point. And then you mentioned the bullpen. Especially in the stretch of games we are in, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your bullpen if, you're in a stretch where we were at the beginning of the season, first 5 or so weeks where days off were more available, but they're just not right now. So we've been having to, and the guys have been great in the bullpen, as we all know. No bullpen's perfect, clearly, but we've relied on them a lot, and they've picked their spots for them and been able to get them where they need to be for the most part. But that's not a recipe you want to hold on to for a long period of time. And then also coupled with, the offensive numbers that allowed us to go and just Morgan grab the 8th and 9th and have a little breathing room. So all of that's important for those reasons.
When Tatis and Arise are going like they did tonight, can you speak to the way they maybe kind of play off each other and the way Arise can put the ball in play and Tatis can run?
Yeah, that's when that's exactly what it looks like, right? I mean, Toddy's at the top, absolute havoc. And then now you've got infielders that just don't know where to go with Louis, right? And then they're moving and they're all over the place. Just creates holes for a guy that can find holes even more so. So it's really a dynamic duo. And then you got, oh, by the way, Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill coming up right after that. So what it looks like tonight, the top of our lineup, and they have those at-bats, watch out. Here we go.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 11-1 win for the Padres here tonight in front of more than 45,000 in the building here at Petco Park. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building. By the way, that was the 28th sellout already of the 2025 season with 45,000 plus in attendance. A lot of good stuff to chew on there for Mike Shildt, and quite frankly, he echoed what I said before he started, which is that they got exactly what they needed tonight, both pitching-wise, what Dylan did on a night where they desperately wanted to give the bullpen, needed to give the bullpen some rest, and they did exactly that, and offensively, they were just clicking. The top of the lineup was awesome. Really. I mean, Luis Arraez, a great game. Manny Machado, a 5 RBI night. He has been so good as of late, really all year. I mean, Manny is putting together one heck of a season. Fernando got involved, was running. That was good to see, even though he wasn't super explosive at the plate. Jackson Merrill had some big hits. Xander Bogaerts, again, hit the ball hard tonight, 3 hits. So top to bottom in the lineup, especially the top half of the lineup, really, really productive, which was great to see. Before we go to break, I just this was sort of a fascinating thing with the Dodgers tonight. It was the bottom half of the 6th inning, the bottom half of the 6th beginning. At the time, it was only a 5-0 game. And I don't know if there were injuries. Again, I haven't heard what Dave Roberts had to say after the game. But going into the bottom half of the 6th inning, in what was only a 5-0 Padre lead, I mean, to me, that's a game that's far from over, especially when you got to line up the quality of the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers put Miguel Rojas into the game, replacing Teoscar Hernandez. They also put Hai-Sung Kim into the game, replacing Mookie Betts. So they took out Teoscar Hernandez, their cleanup hitter. Mookie Betts, a star hitter in the number 2 spot. Again, I don't know if there were injury things, and I'll have to go look after I get off here or after this segment, go look during the break. And maybe there was, maybe that was part of it. Maybe those guys are banged up. I don't know. I was like kind of stunned to see those guys in a divisional game come out of the game at that point. And then, to see Matt Sauer throw 111 pitches in this game was pretty stunning. I mean, Sauer, just so you understand, he was going to get bulk innings tonight. We knew that from the outset. He had not thrown more than 82 pitches at either AAA or the major leagues this season. He was put out there to throw 111, and as he was getting tattooed, he gave up 13 hits in this game. I was stunned. And I know, look, the game got away, and at a certain point, he's just out there and trying to get as many outs as humanly possible. But man, to leave him out there to throw 111 pitches was just stunning, really. And then you had Kike Hernandez come in the 6th inning. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen that before. A position player come in, and that was right after Bogaerts had a 2-run hit to make it 9-0. So with the Dodgers down by 8, they could put a position player into pitch. And the moment they could do that, they finally took Sauer out of the game and put in Kike Hernandez. What it seemed to me was like it got to the 6th inning. They got down by 5 runs, and it was like, we don't care about this game. Now, if you're the Padres, you'll take it. I mean, you'll absolutely take it. You would have loved the Dodgers to use more of their bullpen arms. We talked about it pregame. Their bullpen wasn't particularly fresh either. But, man, I was pretty stunned by some of that stuff. I mean, to leave Sauer out there for 111 pitches and then have Kike Hernandez come in the 6th inning. Wow. It looked like it got to a point tonight where the Dodgers just said, we don't care about this game. And, maybe that's going to be fine when it's all said and done. But in a division game, a team behind you by 2 games in the standings, man, I just, especially the Sauer part of it. Wow. I don't know if he'd ever say it, but I got to imagine he was out there thinking, what's going on? I mean, I've thrown 110 pitches and I'm still in this game. Anyway, there was some oddity to that tonight, at least to me, and I think to a lot of people following tonight's game. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll get to your phone calls, 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, and we'll continue to break this one down. A very nice and pretty easy win tonight for the Padres as they beat the Dodgers 11-1. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Our post-game coverage continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, the Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1 as the Padres come away with a much-needed easy victory. It's been a while since they've had one of those. We'll get more into some of that a little bit later. I've told you all about the last handful of days, all these close games the Padres continue to play. This was much needed here tonight. A nice, easy 11-1 win against the LA Dodgers of all teams. Now the Padres will have an opportunity to win this 3-game series tomorrow afternoon. We'll have much more on that game coming up a little bit later. We'll get some of your phone calls here in a second. 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. The phone number to dial if you want to get involved and react to today's game. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's Relief Pitcher of the Game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Well, our relief pitcher of the game, I'll tell you what, we got essentially one option here because I can't give it to let's go through the options here. Here are the Dodger options for you. Matt Sauer gave up 9 runs on 13 hits in 4 2/3 innings on 111 pitches. I'm not giving it to Kike Hernandez. And the Padres had one guy come in relief, David Morgan, who got through the rest of the game, 2 innings, 1 run. So guess what, David Morgan, congratulations. You're the relief pitcher of the game here tonight. Gave up a run, but you can do that in an 11-0 game. Got through 2 innings, made sure the Padres didn't have to use any other reliever on a night where the bullpen badly needed some rest. So David Morgan, our relief pitcher of the game in this 11-1 win. Padres had a great play defensively. They played some great defense in this game, really, from start to finish. Let's hear today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
0-1 pitch, sent in the air to center field and deep. Merrill back into left center, on the track, at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch against the fence. Took away extra bases from Freddie Freeman and Jackson Merrill. We're going to hang a star as Dylan Cease works a 1-2-3, top of the first inning.
Merrill, a leaping catch up against the fence in center, took a base hit away from Freddie Freeman. That is tonight's catch of the game. Padres played some good defense. Man made a couple of nice plays. Andrew Bogarts made a nice play in this game and set the tone early, 1-2-3. First inning for Dylan Cease, and then Cease would get into trouble a couple of times. Leadoff man on in the second. Really a big spot early in this game before the Padres had even scored a run. Scoreless game. He walked the bases loaded, 3 walks in that third, but struck out Teoscar Hernandez to get out of the inning. That was huge. And then the Padres hung a 3 spot on Matt Sauer in the bottom half of the third, and they were off and running. 3 runs in the third, 1 run in the 4th inning, 1 run in the 5th inning, 4 runs in the 6th inning, 2 runs in the 7th inning as they went on to take an 11-0 lead. So good job by Dylan Cease. He wasn't perfect tonight. He did walk 5. I'm sure he would like that number to be lower. But again, all in all, you look at things, 7 scoreless innings on a night where he really needed to do that for this team and to give this bullpen some rest. And he went 7 shutout innings, so can't complain about the walks, and he struck out 11, so generated plenty of swing and miss as well. All right, let's go to the phones, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to dial. We begin things tonight. It's Don calling in. Don, welcome into the Padres Radio Network.
Hey, thank you, Sammy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, you can't complain after an 11-1 win. You know, we often think about culture being maybe more important at the amateur levels and college and things like that, but culture is important at all levels, I think. And boy, it really speaks volumes. Kind of the Dodgers, how they showed their culture's different than ours, and I really do believe we have different cultures. They have kind of a disposable attitude, apparently, about their pitchers. And then last year, the Bush League kind of tactics that Dave Roberts displayed during the playoffs and Manny. And then, of course, Mike Shildt always talking about respecting your opponent. You know, I can just tell you that it makes me just proud, extra proud. You know, I'd love to win, but I'd love to be a fan of a team that I'm proud of. And I'm just really so proud that we, conduct business the way we do and not like the Dodgers.
Well, Don, appreciate the phone call. Look, again, I said it earlier, and I kind of went through kind of how this game transpired. I mean, the first thing that was, again, it was just, I don't know if odd's the right word. And again, I haven't seen if there's any injury stuff about it. But taking Mookie Betts out of the game when it was a 5-0 game in the bottom half of the 6th inning, taking Teoscar Hernandez out of the game, Again, 5-0 game in the 6th inning. I was pretty stunned. And then to see Sauer just be left out there to throw 111 pitches as a reliever when the max he's thrown this season is 82, and he was just getting hit super hard. Padres all over him. I haven't seen what he said after the game. I would highly doubt he would ever criticize his team and his organization for leaving him out there, but you had to feel for him a little bit. And, clearly the Dodgers got to a point in this game, and I think it was earlier than you would have expected. They got to a point in this game where they were just like, we don't care. And Sauer's going to go out there and he's going to pitch until we decide he's done. And he was done at exactly the point they could bring a position player in to pitch. It certainly started to seem like they were committed to not throwing anybody else out of their bullpen aside from Matt Sauer. Now, Trevino made the start through 1 inning, but it seemed like at a certain point of this game, they were committed to not using another arm if they were trailing, and left him out there. I hope he's all right, moving forward. It's a lot of pitches to throw when you've thrown 82 the whole year. I mean, 111's a lot. Maybe he's fine with it. Maybe they're fine with it. I don't know. I can't speak for it, but it was surprising to say the least. Let's go to Renee calling in. Renee, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome in.
Hey, I'm glad I'm getting the call right after Don, because those are good comments, man, about having pride in our team and the way we carry ourselves, because I have never seen a team quit that early in a game in the middle of the season. And I'll say it. I'll say they quit. I think that guy they plays with right field, the Hernandez guy, I think I understand why he might not have been feeling too well after taking one in the nether region.
That's fair, Renee. Good point. Yeah, he was banged up.
And then Mookie, who knows? But that was kind of, I don't know, man. They get all the run. They get a lot of, excitement because they are who they are. But, they're just a ball team, and they're no one to be feared. And I felt bad for that pitcher too. That really sucks to do that to somebody. I think I understand it's part of the business, part of the game. But you know what? It sucked that it happened to that guy, but I'm glad it happened to that team.
Yeah, look, Renee, and appreciate the phone call. Look, if you're a Padres fan, you'll take it. I mean, the only thing you wish tonight, and this would be the only this would obviously be the argument for what they did tonight, just from the pitching standpoint, is that they gave their bullpen essentially a reset day. They had to use Trevino, but that was it. But they stayed away from everybody else, and now those guys are going to be fresh for tomorrow. I mean, that's clearly what the point was. So the only thing you would have wanted, I mean, if you're a Padres fan, you'll totally take them quitting the game, at a 5-0 score, essentially, in the 6th inning. You'll take that. But you would have liked them not to do that because, you had a big lead. You would have loved them to use more bullpen arms. So, look, they had a clear strategy at a midpoint of this game to say, we are not using anybody else. And Sauer's going to pitch. We don't care if he gets hit hard. And once we can throw in Kike Hernandez, we're doing it. And we don't care how early it is. And look, that's their prerogative. That's what they decided to do. Obviously, I don't think it's great for the game of baseball when games are sort of treated like that. But, they saved their bullpen here tonight, and it's how they treated it. So it's their prerogative, We will step aside when we come back. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, play of the game. If you want to get another phone call in, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, phone number to call. Final score today, Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues after these words.
You're listening
Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here tonight, Padres 11 and the Dodgers 1. Padres improved to 38-28 on the season. Dodgers dropped to 40-28 with the win. The Padres move just a game out of first place in the NL West, and they'll have an opportunity tomorrow to beat the Dodgers, win this first series of the season between these two teams, and move into a tie for first place. So that would be very exciting if the Padres can accomplish that tomorrow. But first things first, we continue to wrap this one up on our post-game coverage from Petco Park. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Everything has gone final here tonight. We start in Arizona. Diamondbacks beat the Mariners 10-3 earlier tonight. Angels beat the A's in 10 2-1. The Giants beat the Rockies 6-5 in Colorado. White Sox beat the Astros 4-2 in Houston. Blue Jays beat the Cardinals 10-9 in St. Louis. The Rangers 16 and the Twins 4 in Minnesota. Yankees beat up on the Royals 10-2 in Kansas City. Brewers beat the Braves 4-1 in Milwaukee. Mets came back to beat the Nationals 5-4 in New York in 10. Jeff McNeil, a walk-off base hit in that one in the 10th inning. Red Sox beat the Rays 3-1 at Fenway Park. Cubs beat the Phillies 8-4 in Philadelphia. Marlins beat the Pirates 3-2 in Pittsburgh. Reds blanked the Guardians 1-0 in Cleveland. And finally, Tigers beat the Orioles 5-3 in Baltimore. And that is a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday evening. As far as where things are in the National League West, it is very tight with the Giants winning, Dodgers losing, Padres winning. Dodgers are now a half game up on San Francisco. Padres are in third place, a game back. So I said the Padres could tie for first place tomorrow. The only way that wouldn't happen is if they win and the Giants win, because then the Padres would still be a half game back of San Francisco. So we'll see how it all plays out tomorrow. You can't control what the Giants are doing right now. And certainly here on June 10th, I don't think you should worry too much about what's going on outside of the ballpark you're playing in. But the Padres can, at least in the standings one way or another, pull even with the Dodgers tomorrow if they do get a win. And we'll preview tomorrow's pitching matchup in just a moment. First, here tonight, the Padres win it 11-1. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Merrill swings, hits it hard over Freeman down the right field line. Now it's Manny's turn to burn around the bases. On his way to third, he's going to be waved. Hernandez just gets to it, sends it into Edman. It'll roll to Freeman. Machado scores, and Merrill standing at third. It's an RBI triple and a 3-0 game.
Jackson Merrill, his RBI triple in that 3-run third, our play of the game. The Padres scoring 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 4 in the sixth inning, 2 in the seventh inning as they collect 11 runs on 16 hits. That RBI triple in Jackson's night, just the start of the story. He had 2 hits and an RBI. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a hit and 2 runs scored. Luis Arraez, great night, 3 hits, 2 doubles, 4 runs scored. Manny Machado, 3 hits, 5 RBIs for Manny. Jackson Merrill, the 2 hits. Gavin Sheets had a base hit. Xander Bogaerts had a great night, 3 hits, hit the ball hard tonight, 2 RBIs. And finally, Martin Maldonado, home run tonight, 2 hits, 2 runs scored for Maldi. It's a great night, top to bottom, for the Padres offense. I spoke with Jackson Merrill, the Padres center fielder, right after tonight's win.
Jackson, a really nice 11-0 win here tonight. You were facing a guy in Matt Sauer for the bulk innings that you had never seen before. How was the offense able to have so much success against them tonight?
Stayed to our approach. Didn't do anything crazy. We didn't really have any homers besides Maldi, so stayed to our approach the whole game. It showed.
You had a pretty good look at Dylan Cease, 7 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts. What'd you think about the way he pitched?
That's the way he pitches, man. You just got to be patient with him, He's going to come out and he's going to dominate. It's got to be patient. It's coming. So
Obviously, last night a tough loss. You respond in a really big way tonight. What was the key mentally to getting back into it tonight?
Flushed it, you know. It was a good game yesterday. You have to admit, like, it was one of the best baseball games of the year. So, just overcome it and move forward today.
2 games into this rivalry in 2025, what do you thought about the atmosphere here?
Great. It's how it should be. It's how all our games should be, though. I want a rivalry with every single team we play. I want to go hard. I want to play hard and just keep going.
Jackson, great win tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sammy.
That was Jackson Merrill right after tonight's 11-1 win for the Padres. And Jackson, as always, saying all the right things and wants to play hard and get wins. That guy, he likes to win. So good stuff from Jackson. Good night for him and a great night for the Padres offense. Great night for Padres pitching. Dylan Cease, 7 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. Taking a look at tomorrow's game, we have a Wednesday matinee. First pitch tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 12:10. Right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Left-hander Justin Robleski on the mound for the LA Dodgers. Again, our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Taking a look at the final totals in this one here tonight for the Padres. 11 runs, 16 hits, no errors. They left on 11. For the Dodgers, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. They left on 11 as well. Let me double check that. Dodgers left on 11 here tonight. Yeah, they did. How about that? 11. Couldn't believe it. Had to double check. Dylan Cease. I don't think I've ever done that before where I've read a final total and been unsure. Dylan Cease, the winning pitcher tonight, he improves to 2-5. You know what? Before I wrap up here, I know this is very rare to me to do it mid-final totals, but I do want to just tell you about this. So sorry that this isn't the cleanest, smoothest mid-game, or I should say post-game wrap-up of the final totals. I do want to just tell you about this because I said I would earlier. Tonight's win for Dylan Cease, he improves to 2-5. It's his first win in 12 starts, so a much-deserved win for Dylan here tonight. That was the longest drought of his career, so Dylan Cease finally picks up a win. And by the way, I said I would get to this as well. Sorry about that. This was the Padres' first win in a span of 11 games that came by more than 2 runs. The Padres' last 10 wins had all come by just 1 or 2 runs. And how about this? This was the Padres' first game in their last 10 that was decided by more than 2 runs. Each of the Padres' last 9 games before tonight had all been decided by 1 or 2 runs. So this was the first time in a while, that the Padres had not played just a nail-biter of a game. So again, much needed here tonight to just have a nice and easy win. All right, I'm going to reset here. Final totals one more time. For the Dodgers, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. They left on 11. For the Padres, 11 runs, 16 hits, no errors. They left on 11. Dylan Cease, the winning pitcher. He's 2-5. Matt Sauer took the loss. He's 1-1. Time of game, 2 hours, 49 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park, the 28th sellout of the season, 45,084 in downtown San Diego. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Jeff Hamby, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 11 and the LA Dodgers 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.